Hello and welcome to Smoking Rubber Podcast. I'm your host, Arun Sharma.
And I'm Distria.
And on today's episode, we'll be talking about two compact Japanese coupes, the Toyo Celica and the Honda Prelude. I guess we'll kick us off. We'll be first going into the Toyota Celica. The first generation launched in 1970, sort of as Toyota's answer to the American pony car, the Mustang and the Camaro. The first gen had a variety of engines in its lifetime, lasting till 1977. From a 1.4 liter to a 2 liter inline four, which made up to 145 horsepower. Of course, it came as a two-door, and in 1973, it had a liftback model, as we could probably hopefully see on the screen. Sort of giving it more of a stylish, sort of sporty appearance. And it was offered as both a four-speed manual and a five-speed automatic. Of course, like I said, lasting quite a while, nearly 8 years of production until the next one. So the second generation Celica coming in 1978, because it had a different styling. Towards it, as well as being both offered as a coupe and a liftback. This also introduced the GT model for the Celica, which came as a 2.2 liter, which was also offered in the first generation, which made only about 97 horsepower. But also, as long as the GT, it came with the famous Supra generation in 1979. So yes, the Supra.
It was introduced as a trim level, I think, right?
Yes, it was originally it was like essentially the premium trim level of the Celica. Sort of and originally it was meant to be more of a luxury sort of model for Toyota's brand. The second gen Celica Supra, its version had a 2.6 inline six engine, which the inline six has now sort of been famous with the Toyota Supra. That made up to 110 horsepower. Later, it had a upgraded 2.8 liter, which bumped up to 160 horsepower. As well as, of course, bring up all this performance. This was also the first Celica to compete in sport racing, mainly rally, which Celica is now sort of famous with. Going now into the third generation, it was brought in 1981, so having a more sleeker, sporty look, as with the pop-up headlights now, which I personally love. It used a 2.4 liter inline four, which made 105 horsepower and came in a five-speed manual or four-speed automatic. The Supra of that generation had a 2.8, which made 160. And in 1983, it had a facelift, which sort of changed the front a little bit more. Now, going into the fourth generation, which personally I think is my favorite model. This is sort of what I think of with the Supra. The Celica. That came in 1985. Notably, the previous models were all rear-wheel drive. This one switched the layout to front-wheel drive. And with that result, that meant there was no actually Supra model for the Celica. So by now, the Supra was now its own car, which its own model, which with its rear-wheel drive / all-wheel drive. Uh, with this Celica, however, it had a brand new 2 liter twin cam, which made 135. So certainly a boost compared to the previous baseline model. And to sort of replace the Supra Celica as the sort of sport line, Toyota introduced the GT4 or / all-track turbo. You can see both. I believe GT4 was essentially the international name, and in the US they called it the all-track because it was, I guess, slightly different performance towards it. In 1988, of course, the big thing was it came with four-wheel drive, sort of as a sort of, I guess, homologation for all the rally racing that Celica is famous for. Four-wheel drive, Turbo 2-liter, which made about 190, came as with a 5-speed manual, 0-60 in just over 7 seconds, which at the time was pretty good, I would say. Of course, this GT4 model saw big success within the rally world, with many wins across the 1990 WRC rally season. In 1989, we saw the 5th generation, which sort of was more of an update to the previous one, had a bit more of a rounder look towards it. But
the four.
no, that would be the one after it.
Oh, okay.
But this one's a little bit more. The 4th gen was a little bit more boxy, like more sharper. This one sort of had more of a round curve to it, especially with the front. It's a little bit more rounder. This generation, the GT model had a 2.2-liter, which made 170, of course, with front-wheel drive. The GT4 had a 2-liter turbo that made up to 200 horsepower now. Of course, with the GT4, that had a brand new body as well compared to the base model, which gave it a little bit more of a wider body compared to your standard Celica, and of course different sort of suspension such for racing. Now, as you just brought up, the 6th generation starting in 1999, that was the switch from the pop-up headlights to the 4 front-facing headlights. That one, of course.
When I think of a Celica, I think of that.
Yeah, I think the 5th and 6th generation, those are probably the two famous models of Celica out there. I think it's a sort of 50-50 on which one you prefer. I think I'm probably going to lean still to the pop-ups, but certainly that one as well is very popular. The GT for that one was a 2.2-liter, which made about the same 135. But interestingly, the GT4 model, there was a GT4, but it wasn't initially offered in the US at launch. I think it was a couple of years later where it kind of came back as a sort of the all-track version. That version was for WRC regulation, and it was very much included sort of like pocket rally car. It made up to 255 horsepower, and includes many other features such as ABS brakes. So, for all the off-roading and rally racing that it competed in. And finally, we are into the 7th generation, which began in 1999. So very much a different look for the Celica, more that I guess 2000s, Y2K, sort of bubbly. A lot of cars like sort of similar to that. Comparatively, there wasn't a lot of models. It only came as a coupe, so no liftback, no like 3-door styling. And only was offered in front-wheel drive, so there was no GT4 all-wheel drive model. The baseline for the 7th gen Celica had a brand new 1.8-liter inline 4, making 140 horsepower. The GTS, which I guess was sort of the performance model, made about 180. There was some TDR sort of modifications you could get for this model, which simply gave it better suspension. And in 2006, the 7th gen ended its production. What
was the MSRP in 2001 for that?
I can quickly check for you,
because I think the 4th gen Supra that was like, I think the last sort of years it was in production. And I think they would have been kind of like competition for each other. I don't know.
Yeah. It seems to be around 30,000 for your standard model. And of course, not including any sort of packages or modding. And certainly now, I think you can get them pretty cheap used.
Yeah.
But fortunately, there's a good ending to this story. Recently, there has been sort of rumors speculating about a brand new Celica coming out of Toyota, and there certainly during a recent WRC event, some leaked images of a Toyota test vehicle have been floating around, and people have been sort of speculating whether or not this is a brand new Celica, which
I
it was
mean, yeah,
certainly a lot of
it could be.
name models sort of being revived. I think of course, a couple years ago, we had the brand new Supra,
Yeah.
sort of based off the BMW. This could sort of be the new, as well as sort of with Toyota's like all like Spark in terms of racing, their Gazoo racing brand.
Yeah.
So you're seeing many success across endurance racing and rally.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all I have on the Celica. So what can you tell us about the Honda Prelude?
So I kind of just went like with some of the more basic stuff. So I just breaking it down to like I did the 5 different generations. So the Prelude came out in 1978, and it was basically based off the Accord's platform, but as the two-door coupe. It was very similar to. I mean, you can definitely see some inspiration how they wanted to, go with the long hood and the short body style. That's very similar to the first generation you showed of the Celica.
Yes.
Inspired very much like of the pony cars and other American cars at the time. Offered with the 5-speed manual, and 2-speed, 3-speed automatic, which is interesting for the time.
I think that was probably the standard. These cheaper models.
Yeah.
Of course, not much advancement nowadays with the transmissions and whatnot.
Yeah. So about 5 different generations. I don't know how many pictures you have.
I have. I included all
the generations.
All
Okay.
generations. So let's talk a little bit about the second generation of Preludes.
Yeah. So second gen, it came out in 1982. Was produced up until 1987. All right, there. Yeah, that's a pretty good looking car there.
Just having the pop-up headlights.
Yeah, definitely. Key characteristic from most vehicles from that time period.
Yeah.
Stylish and simple and sporty. Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
And then obviously the third gen. Now that's where definitely you can start seeing how it's starting to take, better shape of like more sporty. Because some cars you might not be able to really tell from that time. It's like, oh, is that just a regular car, or is that like supposed to be a more sporty car? So yeah, that's.
So I feel like at the time, I don't know what nowadays, but I feel like a lot of these sort of like cars you wouldn't necessarily like think of, like sedans and coupes. They usually had like some sort of sporty racing styling to them, or at least even a model, like the Celica Supra model line.
Yeah.
Of performance, which I think I kind of miss nowadays.
Yeah, because everything is like more SUV based now.
Yeah, SUV based, family cars, transportation.
And then so the fourth gen from 1991 to 1996. There's that one right there. That's a good looking car right there.
And remind me, I'm not sure if it was the third or fourth generation, but there was a trim model for the Prelude which had all-wheel steering. So when you turn, when you turn a car, the front wheels turn.
Like Acura's super handling all-wheel drive, basically.
Yeah, but when you turn, the back wheels also turned a bit, which gave it better traction and control.
Yeah.
When driving, certainly helping with that performance.
Yeah, so I'm not sure which model generation they introduced.
I think it might have been both.
But that right there is a good point. That would make sense. And then they continue with today with Acura. That makes sense.
Yeah, the Acura brand as well.
Yeah, and then the generation that I'm pretty familiar with and that I'm a fan of is the fifth gen.
The fifth gen Prelude.
From 1996 to 2001, which is, that one is just, when I think of a Prelude, I think
that one's pretty nice. Even though it's like, of course, the Prelude's not even, they have pop-up, but something about the way the front is built, it's both, it's like a good like sort of mix between the more squared off style, but it's still soft enough to where it's like, not like you're hyper aggressive.
Yeah. Sure, for sure. And then now we're on to the sixth generation.
They just sort of brought out the sixth generation Prelude.
With I believe it's the same amount of horsepower, and it's I think the same 0-60 as the last generation.
Really?
So right there. And they're selling that for like 40, 50,000.
Yeah, but I think correctly, I think this one's also a hybrid now.
Well, if we're talking from a car from 2001 or 1996, I'm going to take the car from 2001.
Wow.
The same horsepower for how much? Like I don't know
maybe
what
double the
these-
price.
Exactly.
And not even counting like inflation and all that stuff.
I don't know what these manufacturers are doing. It's ridiculous. Like you want that much for a car that's got the same amount of horsepower as your older version?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Certainly, I think what I first of all, I guess I think it's obvious for you which one's your favorite. The fifth generation.
Yep.
Very much. I think one of my favorite things is this is how low they can sit, not just with any modification. Certainly, a lot of mods out there that like have lowered preludes, and those look quite nice.
Yeah.
I think I would have to agree with you in terms of fifth. In terms of the Celica, it's kind of tricky. I'm kind of leaning. It kind of might be a tie between fifth and sixth, but when looking for this today's episode, learning a bit more about the fourth generation, I kind of realized how sort of like how good it was. Sort of course, interest having that brand new twin cam, and of course introducing the GT4, but as well as in terms of styling, it's kind of definitely similar to the fifth gen, just more squared off, more of the sort of nice retro look because it came before.
Yeah.
Still having the pop-ups. But kind of, I think part of the reason why I sort of like Celicas is not really a connection with me, but apparently I can't really verify. Apparently, I guess before I was born, my dad used to own a red Celica, and so growing up, he used to show me sort of photos of the car he owned. I thought, I guess sort of having that sort of connection with me and him sort of created the sort of bond with the Celica.
Well, which generation did he have?
It's been so. I think it might have been the fifth generation Celica.
And again, I'm getting mixed up. Is that the last generation with the pop-up headlights?
Yes, the last generation. That was the last one with the pop-ups.
Okay.
So
Nice.
Yeah, certainly. I've sort of been quite fond of the Toyota Celica, and hopefully with the recent rumors of a new one, those end up being cool, and hopefully it'll end up being a good sort of I guess rally car, sort of maybe compete with like stuff like the Subaru WRX or the Civic Type R.
Yeah, I would definitely probably take a first gen because seeing
yeah.
the window louvers on the back.
Oh yeah, the lift back.
It's like a Japanese Mustang.
That's what it looks basically like. It's basically
So,
is.
I would take that.
Basically is, but if I'm not sure if there's anything else you want.
No, not much
Covered?
else to say.
Well, I guess that'll be it for our episode. Thank you for watching for the Smoking Rubber Podcast. I'm Arun Sharma.
And I'm Destria.
And we'll see you next time.